Once upon a time, in a small village hidden deep in the mountains, there lived a donkey. The village was poor and backward. The villagers spent their whole lives working in the fields and walking along the same narrow paths. Few ever left the village, and fewer still returned with stories of the outside world. The donkey lived a quiet life, carrying loads for the villagers day after day. Yet, unlike the people around him, he often lifted his head and stared at the dense forest surrounding the village. The forest was feared. People said it was full of wild beasts, thorns, and endless obstacles. No one dared to venture inside, for it was considered impossible to cross. One day, the donkey asked himself, "Why should I live my whole life in this tiny village? What lies beyond the forest? If I don't take a step, how will I ever know?" So the next morning, he set off. The villagers laughed at him. "That foolish donkey! He never listens to anyone. Walking into the forest is nothing but suicide." But the donkey was stubborn. He kept moving forward, guided only by instinct. The forest was indeed dangerous. Thick vines, sharp rocks, lurking animals. But with persistence and courage, the donkey finally made it through. When the villagers heard that the donkey had crossed the forest alive, they were stunned. Rumors spread quickly. Surely he had found a better life on the other side. The donkey, once mocked as foolish, suddenly became a symbol of bravery. Hearing these whispers, a pack of dogs grew curious. "If a donkey can do it, then so can we," they said. The next morning, they followed the donkey's scent, walking step by step along the exact path he had taken. Using their keen sense of smell, the dogs too made it across the forest. This news created even more excitement in the village. "If the dogs can do it, then why not us?" the villagers thought. Gradually, people began following the same path. At first, only a few tried, but then more and more joined. Over the years, the small track turned into a familiar trail, and eventually it became the main route connecting the village with the outside world. Time passed, and the government decided to build a proper road to improve travel and trade. When the engineers arrived for the survey, the villagers unanimously requested, "Please build the road exactly along the old path. We are used to it." The chief engineer was puzzled and asked, "Why do you insist on this path?" An old man stepped forward and answered, "Because it is the easiest one we know. We've been using it for generations." The engineer frowned and asked again, "Who created this path in the first place?" Silence fell. Then someone muttered, "If I remember correctly, it was a donkey long ago." The engineer chuckled softly, then said, "I'm not surprised that a donkey made this path. What surprises me more is that humans have kept following a path created by a donkey for generations, without ever questioning it. In fact, we've already discovered another route, much shorter and smoother, that would save you both time and effort. Yet none of you ever thought to look for it." At that moment, the villagers realized their mistake. For centuries, they had blindly followed the same old path, without once considering a better option. They had wasted years simply because no one dared to ask whether there was another way. From then on, the story of the donkey became a lesson for the whole village. Following the crowd blindly can trap people in mediocrity, while courage to question and explore can open the door to greater opportunities. Too often in life, we walk on paths created by others, sometimes by those who knew little, sometimes even by fools. Instead of searching for our own way, we convince ourselves, everyone else is doing it, so it must be right. But the truth is, the greatest mistake is to walk on a road just because it already exists, not because it is the right road for us. Had the donkey never left the village, no one would have known the forest could be crossed. And had the villagers dared to think for themselves, they might have discovered a shorter, easier road long before. This tale is more than just a village story. It mirrors our modern lives. Many of us are still walking the donkey's path, choosing careers others expect of us, living lifestyles society prescribes, and following norms without ever asking, "Is this really my path?" But life has no universal blueprint. Each person has unique dreams, talents, and values. If we keep blindly following the footprints of others, we may never discover our true potential. So instead of conforming, we must be bold enough to explore, to question, and to carve out our own path. Who knows, our path may be shorter, brighter, and far more meaningful than the ones already laid out.